Hello everyone. As you know, this is a one-piece custom frame. Really costly, a lot of work, a lot of man hour involved, but I have come up with a new design. It's called the OG Flow Mount. It's something that you can do yourself. So come over here, let me show you. If you're thinking about modding up your bike and you don't want to go with the route where you have to send me the frame and have to custom make everything, weld, bondle, and all that good stuff, this is an alternative route. This is a mount that I have designed for the past year that will allow you to just put it yourself right in your own garage. Okay, here's our mount. Here's our OG Flow mount. Prior to installation into the bike, there's a little bit of prepping involved. That way it makes your process a little bit easier. What I generally do with this mount after it's been powder coated, the powder coat is kind of thick. So what I do is I take a Dremel and I take some of this material off a little bit, tap all the holes because there are some powder coat inside, so that way the threading will be a little easier when you do install it. So the OG mount basically comes with the mount, the two clamps, the rear shock mounts, and all the hardware and your rear shock. This is basically what the mount looks like, and we're just gonna install it onto this bike over here. Okay, first I like to install the shock mount. It's right there, and I just want to get it out of the way. We're gonna come over here on this side. You have the lower shock mount and the upper clamp. I've designed this clamp so that it only fits one way. First, you just put this on, line it up with this notch. There it is. Once you line up this bolt right here, don't have to tighten it down. I generally don't tighten anything down until the finished product is on the bike. Just snug. That way this piece right here sits right where it's at and it's not moving. And then now you have the lower piece, goes right underneath it. Tighten these bolts down. And as you tighten it down, you always want this gap to be kind of even. That way it's center the actual shock mount. Just snug, don't need to tighten it down. And when you are ready to tighten it down, you don't want to cram that thing down there. Just snug, about 10 foot-pound is more than enough for these little bolts. So see how I'm just snugging it down? That's ready. We can always come back later and tighten it down to the final touch. The next piece that I'm going to install is the actual mount. We designed this and we've called it the OG Flow Mount, and there's a reason beside that, because when you install it in, it's just round and it's shaped like part of the frame that we have over here. That's why it flows. Here we got the two clamps right here. What you want to do is install this side first, the frame. And then we have these. This is a 12-inch 10mm axle that we have, axle bolt here. Kind of want to slide it in on this side first. And then you have this washer right here. Now this washer goes on the inside, in between the mount and the frame, okay? So this washer is going to go on the inside. Then you line up this mount carefully until you find that hole, and then you slide this shaft right through until it gets all the way through. Now the second washer is going to go on this side. Kind of hold it in there in place, and then the shaft will just pop right on over. The other nut goes on this side. Like I said, I don't tighten anything down until everything's finalized. Just hand tighten it. What you want to do is you want to swing this mount over. Goes into this cross beam of the frame. Hold it right there. This clamp goes in. This clamp goes on this side. In. Just snug it. Don't have to tighten anything yet. Go. It's a one-piece mount, so there's not too many parts. It's just here, there, and right into the motor. This mount will allow you to run the GY6 motor. It gives you a 9-inch stretch from the wheelbase, from the frame back to the wheelbase compared to the original stock one, and is made for universal. Either you can run a skinny tire or a fat 7-inch tire in the back. Okay, now that we have the mount in place where we want it, what I like to do is kind of run over and just bolt check and tighten and snug everything that I can. I always tighten these bolts down first. Okay, tighten these one down next. But remember, these are only 6mm bolts, so you don't want to go crank it like it's a lug nut. Just enough is good enough. See, once it's down tight, half a turn. A lot of people, what they do, they'll crank this until this pipe crack, and then you'll run into a problem. That's it, that's all it needs. And here, tighten here, here, here. And once it's down, I just give it a little turn. That's it, that's all you need. A quarter of a turn right there, and I'm done. Now we're gonna go back here and install the shock and mount the motor into this frame. We're gonna slide the motor up, try to center it, drop that mount in place. You can just eyeball it and line up the hole. You don't have to be exact. Here's the mount bolt, goes right through. If you're having trouble shoving it in, what I do is I just take my gun, just kind of run it through it. Make sure it lines up on the other side. It comes out on this side. You don't want to make it all the way through. Then you're going to have a hard time putting this nut in there. You see, if it goes all the way through, there's not enough clearance over there. Actually, I went a little too far, so just a little bit. Run this nut in there. All right. Then with my 14mm wrench right here, hold that nut down. We're good, we're home. Next step, here's a shock. It's about 10 inches from eye to eye. As a kit, this is what you're gonna get. This mount setup, it comes with everything that I'm installing right now. The mount, the shock mount, and the shock, and of course all the hardware. So this just pops in right here, all the way through. Feed the nut to the other side. This bolt right here, you just gotta put it in. If it doesn't line up, of course you're gonna maneuver the jack a little bit, and then you get it in place. Tighten it down. There you go, and we're done. You can do the work now. And film yourself so I can watch you do the work. This mount is available here at our store at Ruckster. You can go on Ruckster.com. This is where you'll find it. And we will be distributing it to other stores, but at the moment, right now, we're still working on that.